Jordan, Man United 2, Spurs 0. Actually, it was actually easy. That was the first time I felt like, you know what? This team's not going to score. We just need to make sure we do. And we just took care of business tonight, man.
Yeah, I mean, it looked relatively easily. From the start of the game, we had control. It's the first time I think this season we've had a full team performance, minus Sancho. Yeah. But everyone kind of played very well, or can be a contender for man of the match, had their moments, done their jobs well. So I'd say Spurs, they came up here, and I don't know if they underestimated us, but they just didn't look up for it. From the defenders to the midfielders, they were just off the pace. We was first to the ball, second balls, wanted to win the headers. It seemed a bit too easy.
On Ten Hag, are we starting to see like a pattern emerging in terms of, we are creating, I know we're not clinical in front of goal, but from the football that we're trying to play and the patience that we're showing no matter who it's against, because we were disappointed against Newcastle, but there was an element of control to that game as well. We did well in spaces. Is he starting to get it across? Are the players starting to understand now what he's doing, and are you seeing us going up the gears? Yeah,
I think the main difference I saw between Newcastle and this one, obviously apart from the goals, was the cutting edge in front of goal, and in the final third, the passes, they were very incisive. So there was diagonal runs coming from the wingers, even the fullbacks, the overlaps, the midfielders, the runs from deep from the midfielders. Because Casemiro, Varane, and Martinez, there was a triangle there. They cleaned up nicely. Then you had everyone else kind of bombing forward, picking up pockets. Dyer and Romero at the back didn't know who to mark. They was checking their shoulders, and it was Anthony 1 minute, then it was Sancho, then it was Rashford. So I can see what Ten Hag's trying to do, and I think it kind of spells the end of the time for Ronaldo.
Do you reckon?
Because I don't think he can be as fluid in that front three as they were today. And when he comes, he wants to be in the centre. He's now a penalty box striker. He was never that, and it does change the way we play. So
do you think that's why Ten Hag didn't bring him on? Because I saw before the game, I saw some of Ten Hag's quotes, and he was saying that when Ronaldo comes on later on, he will make an impact or something along those lines. I was thinking, he's pretty much saying he's definitely going to come on at some point, and he didn't. Do we need to look into that at all, or should the focus just be, the fact that we won the game and that's what matters?
I think Eric may have thought the game may have been a bit tighter going into the later stages. So if it was 1-1, we was drawing or even behind, Ronaldo would have definitely come on. So the fact that we was in control, 1-0, then we got the second. I think it was relatively early for us. Normally it's 1-0 up until the end. Yeah. So we kind of killed the game. There was no need to bring him on. Why are you bringing another attacker on? You bring McTominay on like he did and shore the game up, make sure we don't concede. Then if they score, you do have the option to bring Ronaldo on and go back again. So there was not really a need to bring him on today.
Okay, fair play. Casemiro, talk to me about his game.
He was amazing. If anything, I think for the summer, the best thing that happened for us was to not get De Jong, because we ended up with him. I've been screaming personally for the last 5 years that we've needed a destroyer in the midfield, someone to come in and just break play up and move it to the players that can play. We've always had ballers in the midfield, but we just don't have them people that like to get stuck in. And McTominay gets stuck in, but the difference between McTominay and Casemiro, or besides the experience, is Casemiro is a master of the dark arts. When it comes to just pulling the shirt, pushing a player here, just kicking the ankles, just early fouls. He just knows what to do to get in the player's head, and them Spurs players didn't know what to do.
Yeah, he was good. He was good, and he's starting to show, the side of his game that has been missing from our team and where he fits into that. Rashford, because I want to talk about him because he was at it today. He was lively. He was a constant threat. Couldn't get his goal, but did a lot of other things right. How did you assess his performance?
I want to stay positive on Rashford, only because there's been so much negativity around him, and I've been here many games, and I've not seen no effort from him. I've seen his head down, slumped, and he just looks like, please take me off the pitch. Today I didn't see that.
Yeah. This season he hasn't been.
This season, no, to be fair, he hasn't. But from that first chance, I thought, his head could drop here, because it was a bad miss. He was through, and he sort of dragged it. But the second one, for me, it was a very good save from Lloris, because Lloris was beat. He just threw that leg up, and he managed to save it. The third one, you've got to do better, in my opinion. But he's still getting the chances. Rashford before, he might have one chance, and his head drops, he's not getting another one. He got one in the first half. Come out the second half, he got another one. That didn't work, he got another one. He was still running in behind. Even late on in the end of the game, I remember Shaw got it at left back, and you saw Rashford going off. He wanted that goal today, and that's what I like to see.
Talk to me about Martinez and Varane lastly.
We've got a new partnership at the back. We finally replaced that Rio and Vidic partnership. Not to that level. I'm not gonna mark my words, but we've got a centre back there now. Do you know what I mean? Before we thought maybe Smalling and Jones, and then that just fell apart. And then we've just had anyone that can do a job at the back. So for them two at the back, it's stability.
Because Son and Kane, you're always thinking that counter attack's going to come. There's going to be a moment where they just literally they snuffed out anything before it came to fruition.
Yeah, not a sniff, because they played 5-3-2, and I believe that they done that was to put the two strikers on the two centre backs, put Kane on Martinez, and say, all right, what can you do with him now? Kane, I can't remember anything he'd done all game. Martinez had him in his pocket. For the size difference, you wouldn't have noticed no size difference. Martinez was holding him up. Varane was winning all the headers. It was just a great partnership.
Who was the man of the match finish off? There's a lot. There's a lot.
It's the guy we haven't spoke about, but I have to give it to Fred.
Yeah.
His energy in the midfield, even just his passing. I've not seen him be able to pass and break through and actually cut teams open like that.
So you see with Fred, yeah, because I agree with you. He's my man of the match as well. What is it then? Is it just like a consistency thing? Because when we came out of here after Newcastle, some people say, "Oh, this is why he's got to leave," and it's very reactionary. And I'm not saying like there wasn't evidence to suggest that Fred was good and stuff like that. I'm not saying that, but when you see him be able to play like that, how frustrating is it? Because it's like sometimes he can do that, but then equally, if he was to start against Chelsea and not play very well, we wouldn't be surprised at the same time as well. Like how frustrating is that, man?
I think Fred, he plays with so much passion, a bit like Bruno. They play with so much passion that they always want to do well for the team. Some other players you can see they might be a bit more selfish, they might be a bit more thinking about themselves, but them two, they just want to win by all means necessary, and they can be a bit rash and they can rush their passes. They just want to, if they're behind, I see it especially more when we're behind, because you can see that they just want to get a goal, they just want to get back to level. I think Fred just needs to calm down and just think more, take his time, and the ability's there. He just needs to show it on a more consistent basis. And I think with Casemiro being there now, he doesn't have to have the defensive duties as much. He can more rat around, get the ball off the players.
Yeah, we're seeing Fred higher than he's ever been, like all the time. Like he's playing an 8.
The edge of the box, he's getting it, and I'm seeing him have shots and shots and shots. Do you know what I mean? Before you weren't seeing Fred put off shots. So I think we could see a new side to Fred going forward if we can have Casemiro in that 6 role in the 8.
And lastly, is that credit to Eric Ten Hag? Because there's certain players this season, let's think about it. Scott McTominay started really well and kept Casemiro out the side. Luke Shaw got booted out the side for Malacia, but then has come back in, done really well. There's players there that are, now you talk about Fred. Is he Rashford's turned it around. Is he starting to get a tune out of players that maybe, we lost a little bit of faith in, lost a bit of hope in?
I think he's just brought competitiveness to the squad. Before, a new manager would come in and it's that new manager bounce. The same old players would get picks. You get the Maguires, the England bunch, and it just after a few months it fizzles out, and then it's back to routine. Ten Hag's showing players, no, if you play well, I will play you. So if you show me what you're worth on the pitch, you're going to get game time, and then you've got to get that number off the back of their shirt. And it's proven hard for some players. You wouldn't have thought Casemiro would have been on the bench. And now he's come in. McTominay, is he going to get?
It's almost like Casemiro had to actually earn that off of McTominay.
And you've got to earn your spot in the team.
Which is good though. Isn't it? Yeah, when you break it down.
When you break it down like that, he's done nothing in his career. Casemiro has, but Eric Ten Hag said, "You've not done nothing for Man United. You've got to come in here and show for Man United that you're a proper football player." And he's come and done that. See how it goes going forward.
Love, bro. Big up, dude. Cool, bro.